Yeah.
So, Pius, last time we looked at characters, you were still forming Corvus. Do you feel that with your sudden promotion, due to Iverna the Nightbreeze recognizing you as party leader simply because she considers the other two to be complete and utter morons, do you feel this has solidified the character more in your mind, given him a role to step into?
A little bit. I'm still not quite sure what kind of character he is, but this has kind of made me get more in his headspace. He's more or less wondering at the moment exactly how he went from just standing by and doing his job to being what is essentially a glorified babysitter.
Well, I guess that competence is rewarded and at least acknowledged.
I mean, he hasn't really excelled either. He just kind of, at most, what he's done is he's actively not screwed anything up majorly.
And in a adventuring party, that's actually a huge mark of leadership.
I mean, he hasn't even done anything to screw up, though, which is why it's mystifying.
Ah, but look at what the other two have done. One of them alerted the attention of a dragon, and the other one almost got you guys killed by the dragon. At least in her mind.
Yeah, I hope she has sympathy for my plight here.
Yes, well, it'll be interesting to see how you lead the party. So, notice, Peter, how did you find standing up to the dragon and getting those incredibly high rolls every time you needed them?
It was really amazing how it just fell into place. Of course, this runaway noble would harken back to like the times where he had daily interactions with people of high stature and status, and thinking he could draw from that, he just stood his ground. And even though he had no like actual connection, like the dragon just was like, if he speaks again, I'm going to kill him. But still, like he did not falter. He did not like submit. Like that, it was a moment for him to just be like, man, I'm really hot cheese or something like that. Like I still got it, kind of. But as always, I I I don't make things happen, but I didn't lose myself, and that was the important thing.
Okay, and so with the orcs, given the background, given the setting lore about how the orcs and the humans, they are not actually friends, they're pretty antagonistic to each other. Given that they are seen as being hostile, how do you feel Notice reacted when the orcs came on the scene? Do you feel that you have developed more of this character and you've got him more solidified in your mind and you know where you're taking him?
Yes, I have. We should say, a very hard time when we first started this character. When we did the first like post video like recording, like I felt like I was more spitballing a character as the questions rolled out. Like I had the idea of what I wanted, but it was not flushed out. And the more I've played this character, the more I've realized, oh my goodness, like this can actually be something enjoyable. This is something I can sincerely just pour into this noble out of place, this like fish out of water type of a character who's
I
in
forget,
denial.
you're a new player, right?
I've played D&D before. I've been doing D&D off and on and other role playing games since 2017, but I've not done something of this magnitude where you actually have to think. To be honest, like no offense to past DMs and
So
past players.
it's just been like a series of one shots. You mean stuff like
Yes.
that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've actually was really sweet being homeschooled. My parents allowed me to run a one shot for a creative arts project. it was a great time because they were like, okay, you have to set the setting, you have to actually get players to play it, and like it has to last a certain amount of time. Like it has to be a full one shot. And uh I got it count towards school.
That I never had that kind of experience. For those of you who don't know, Colin, our fearless leader, is the only one out of the group who was not homeschooled. So we do have some universal experiences here. Colin, our fearless leader, is the only one out of the group who was not homeschooled. So we do have some universal experiences here.
What a
But I
loser.
actually
I
never
mean,
had
what?
creative arts projects.
Yeah. And it wasn't just like a one shot I could do as well. Like there was different websites like Hero Forge or Ink Arcana, I think it was. It's like a map building one where they would send me like, okay, I need you to make a map or I need you to make a character and then like write a few paragraphs about it. Like tell me about this character. And it was not a regulated thing, but after a while, my mom just like looked at me, like she like compiled all that I did, and I was like, "Oh my goodness! You've poured a lot into this, and this was outside of like school. Like you should really pursue this." And so that's when they were like, "Okay, how can we how can we use the skills you have while still like pushing you academically?" Because like I had never done something like that before. I had never considered running my own one shot. And when I come into this one, it's not a one shot. This is a campaign we're playing. It's really cool to be a character again. I'd been a DM off and on for so long that I've forgotten just the joy of like, I don't know what's gonna happen. There's a dragon that comes. Okay, I need to think on my feet. I can't just like, okay, I know that it's not gonna really kill them. It's like, no, I don't know. I could say something and everyone dies. You know, rocks fall, everyone dies, and I'm the reason for the rocks.
So now you mentioned Hero Forge. Do you guys think that you're going to be making your characters in it?
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
Totally.
most definitely.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to seeing how Joe looks in Hero Forge.
I've
Seeing if I
actually
can get
only
him
started
right.
fiddling around with mine. I do not have a finalized design though.
Well, we're looking forward
I
to
have,
seeing.
I have kind of a tendency to go for the same character over and over and over when it comes to Hero Forge because it's kind of difficult to make something that looks unique and consistently good. So I'm kind of just going with my default and then varying it bit by bit every time I revisit it.
Okay, so Joe Mib, how do you feel he did today? Do you feel that he's a little more formed? Do you have a better grip on the character, Isaac?
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's gone from someone who I wasn't quite sure who he was really gonna end up being to someone definitely, especially even with the orc encounter, that that encounter right at the end, that really summed him up pretty well, I feel. Like he's someone who doesn't always what am I trying to say here? He's someone who doesn't always think before he acts, but he always tries to do what he thinks is right.
And it's interesting because that could have been a very deadly encounter.
Oh, absolutely.
And so it's very telling, and this is an experience that I've had over and over and over, and that is the more you get to walk in your character's shoes, the more you get to experience them, the more you engage the the dynamics of the party and those around the party. This will help form your character, and you discover them as you go along, even if you don't know who they are fully at the beginning. You grow into them and they grow into you, and your concept, it may change a little over time, it may change a lot over time, and it's fascinating to see that formation. And I really appreciate how, on the one hand, we've got this bounty hunter who may sometimes be an assassin who does have honor, and we've got this straight man who finds himself in the position of a foreman, as a leader, completely mystified. And then we've got this runaway noble brat who looks down on everybody, including a dragon. And I find that this party is a lot of fun. So how do you feel about your fellow party members? And then I'm going to ask you guys what the highlight of this session was.
So far I'm still trying to get a read on my own character as well as everyone else, but I am having fun, which is the most important thing out of any game, is that you have fun. So I can't really comment on their characters in as satisfactory a way as I guess anyone would want to hear. The long and the short of it is I'm having fun, and that's the main thing I need to know.
Well, that is the most important part of any game.
Yeah. And what was your other question?
Well, about the best highlight of the session today.
For me, it was the part where I went, I provide tactical support. Now get back to work.
That was an amazing line.
Yeah.
I nearly died. I was muted there, so I didn't laugh.
Well, you should have.
I should have, but you know.
Well, maybe if we ever get some merch up, we can get that on a t-shirt.
Yes.
Yeah, we can't. We have to we have to actually. What am I trying to say? We have to sound like human beings. That's one thing
Yeah,
I'm kind of worried about with
absolutely.
this whole venture is the way we talk. It's a little bit stilted, and it just starts to sound scripted if we talk like that for too long. So by all means, laugh out loud at some of the things you hear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, mostly I just also didn't want to wake up my aunt and uncle sleeping in the next room. So
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, yeah. I tend to agree with what Pius is saying about the like we're having fun, but I think also the like to know the characters more. Like I I think this leader, this elf lady, she's definitely she's got something against my character, and I think my character he's too dumb to see it just yet. Let me phrase that. He's not dumb. He is selective in what he notices, you could say, because although he can see things other people's don't at times, most of the time he does not understand why these things he's seeing. He doesn't understand, okay, why is this person just a jerk to me? Like, what have I said? Why why does this keep happening to me? I see this, it comes into play, it should play out like this, it plays out like this for this privateer guy and this shield maiden fella, whoever he is. Like it should work out for me too, but
fella.
yeah.
oh my gosh.
Exactly. Yeah, like that's how he would see it. Like it would just be like, why is this not working out for me? As probably a question he asks himself a lot, but it only in time will reveal like how he like truly will truly respond to it. Right now he's just in like this is becoming a same old again.
Sucks. Everything sucks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you do an amazing job of playing a teenage elf. I don't know what his actual age is, but he comes across as a teenage elf. So you do an amazing job of the runaway noble. So what was your greatest takeaway from this, Peter? What was your highlight of the session?
Hang on a minute. Considering the possibility that the quote unquote teenage elf is like in his 70s.
Right.
That is true.
A 70-year-old runaway noble.
Yeah.
With the mental age of like a 5-year-old.
That's crazy.
I could just imagine like an old man in like a Shakespeare costume kicking down a drawbridge, running away going, I'm free, I'm free.
Yeah, I would definitely think um this guy, he's got to be like I know Silgar, yeah, I'm saying it right. Dar.
No, you're not.
Just getting in
Um
character. What?
just getting in character. Yeah, I need to step away from this character for a bit, get back to reality. But I would have to say, yeah, he's 70 70 like 75. Like I'm gonna just throw it out. He's probably 75 at this
75,
point.
and he's still going through the whole "it's not a phase, mom" mentality.
Right.
Yeah, he is mature wise, especially stepping out, going on these adventures. He's having to grow up faster, and he's being pelted with all this just reality checks that he has to choose how he will respond to, and more often than not, he just will stick his foot in his mouth or see something that he doesn't need to see, and he will respond to it because that I relate to that. Like, I don't know if other homeschoolers have had this as well, but like the social cues, I'm like,
Yeah.
don't feel bad. Like, I'm 19,
Yeah.
I'm still figuring
Mhm.
them out. I'll go and like stand next to someone and they'll just turn to me and like just push me 2 feet away. I'm like, okay, dude, like just give me a bubble a bit. I'm like, I okay, cool. I wasn't trying to crowd you, man. I just wanted to know what was going on, or
Right.
like I walk by someone and they're having a deep conversation and it like takes me a few seconds to be like, they don't want me here. I'm gonna go this way. I need to talk to them, but I don't want to be rude, like
Yeah, it's
and
always
then
tough.
I relate with this character. I think the highlight of this was just realizing that this character, like I remember regretting a lot of like how like real I was getting with the character in our first post talk, but I'm realizing that like this character, like it is a lot of this teenage angst. It's a lot of this social awkwardness while still feeling like you have a position, like feeling like you are something, but don't know how to communicate it. And like I'm excited to see where he'll go. And the realization of this from this session has been just a huge relief on my part. I feel like I can actually turn this character into something that's enjoyable.
Well, it has been an awful lot of fun this session. So, how about you, Isaac? How do you see the other party members? How do you relate to them? And what was your greatest highlight from the session?
Um, I think, hmm, that is a good question. I think Joe sees them more as comrades now. Uh, Now that they've been through an almost dragon attack.
Well, what one comrade and one despot.
Yeah. Um, yeah, he's definitely warming up to them slowly but surely. Uh, as for the favorite moment, it would it'll have to be the orc. It was just that was just real. Like that hit home.
Yeah.
Just two two completely different species even just coming together to mourn the loss of another, and then just the respect that came with it.
Yeah.
That hit hard. Got me in the feels.
And completely shatter the mood. Another thing I quite enjoyed was, again, centered on my character, where you said that what I can never remember character names. Forgive me, but Elf Lady assumed
Iverna.
that I was a warrior and leader and so on because I had a saber.
Right. I know, that was hilarious.
It's like, when did that become a badge of office for anyone?
Ah,
since she
well,
wields one.
you
That's
see,
fine.
as Isaac said, she wields one. And you're in the company of Sildar, and he wields the sword, and so clearly you must be a man of caliber, of great expertise, and you have a pistol. But I personally had a lot of fun role playing Lord Icespire. That was fun. I mean, how often do you really get to just yell at people and just be so? I mean, you had it absolutely right. Toddler throwing the rattle out of the pram.
Yeah.
But I'm also enjoying playing Iverna the Night Breeze, and I'm enjoying the history there. So, final question before we break: what do you guys think about your non-player character comrades, companions? Now, I know that Pickle Pete doesn't speak much, and I know that Talon is just very, very enthusiastic, very, very earnest and focused. But what about everybody else?
Lazy hat guy is my favorite. He's not actually my favorite, but I like him. I like them all, but I like him specifically because of how nonchalant he is.
Honestly, I was about to say practically the exact same thing. Like I'm very interested to find out who he actually is, or if he's just kind of there as comedy.
Let me rephrase. He's not my favorite. I don't have a favorite. Uh, he just kind of stood out specifically because of how little he actually did.
Well, I mean, most people, you'd think that if there was a dragon flying overhead, they might at least react.
Yeah, that makes me think that he's either suicidal or he's actually an extremely powerful magic user to whom a dragon is no issue.
Well, time will tell. How about you,
Indeed.
Peter?
I'm excited to figure out why he's so nonchalant, but also um I think it was kind of cool to have the exchange with like Pickle Pete. Um Tried to build in some lore and some other stuff with like where my character's been, what my character has experienced, with the different lines and connectivity. I think we didn't really talk to Talon. Like Talon was there, but he wasn't like we didn't really have a whole lot of exchange with him. So hopefully we get some more of that. I'm excited to see some more with him and stuff. I think.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to what comes next. And I'm particularly looking forward to seeing what options you guys choose, because this is a role play game. It's not a video game where your choices are strictly limited. You can choose to engage, you can choose to not engage, you can choose to disengage. And the choices that you make and the actions and reactions that you take and the words you speak all play a role in this great tapestry. And there are a number of threads going on. And you guys have actually tapped into some of them, even if you're not aware of them yet. And so, if you were to play this whole campaign again and do things differently, you would see a different outcome. So, there are things which are hidden behind the scenes that are at work, decisions trees, if you like. And I'm very, very fascinated, particularly as you're going in blind. Well, all of you except Isaac, as to what you will choose. Because Isaac, you've played Lost Mines Vanilla before. You've not
Yeah,
played
yeah.
Lost Mines Bridged. So how do you I can't really ask you to compare and contrast and ask which you like more because that's a little egotistical, but how different are you finding it?
Um, well, it's certainly different just from the start alone. Like in I'm not gonna say anything bad about D&D, the vanilla version of Lost Mines, because it's great and wonderful in its own way. Like it's the main starting campaign that everyone normally goes to, that or Icespire Peak. It's nice how you've mixed the two.
Yes, it should be more fun. And now you guys have had combat simulation. How are you finding the Survivor Edition Masochist? You guys still enjoying the system and the high stakes?
Oh
Has it
yeah,
changed?
absolutely.
I'm enjoying the balance of defense and offensive magic, especially having them at higher levels.
Well, that's all we have time for with our post-game chat. But thank you for joining us. And thank you guys for playing. I'm looking forward to the next time. And there are more tricks up my DMing sleeve. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So we will see you guys next time. Bye for now.